When people hear artificial intelligence, many imagine robots, coding, or futuristic technology. But AI can be used in carrying out everyday tasks to achieve faster results, which brings us to ask, what if AI could help a farmer detect animal sickness before symptoms becomes visible? What if it could reduce feed waste, improve productivity, predict market prices, and even help small livestock farmers make smarter decisions? Your guess is as good as mine. Let's get to it. It's another exciting episode on Successful Business Lounge, where we bring you success stories of entrepreneurs and we talk business without the jargons. Today, we are exploring how AI is quietly transforming the livestock industry from local farmers to global food systems, and what this could mean for farmers, businesses, consumers, and the future of agriculture. Today, to discuss that with me, I have Dr. Kayode Femi, who is the founder and CEO of Farmalart. He has created the largest distribution network for pet and livestock products in West Africa.
I'm really very happy and excited to be with you discussing this very famous topic.
Yeah. Before we go into it, you're a veterinarian, right? What made you to go into AI? Because we know AI is something that is developing, something that has just come in. So what led you to go into that aspect?
All right, so maybe for our listeners, especially people who are in the livestock sector, when you say AI, it could mean another thing. It could mean artificial insemination.
Oh, it's true.
So I want to be sure that the AI we're discussing today
is artificial intelligence.
Exactly. All right, so good. So since we have a common ground now, in my lifetime, I've seen 2 or 3 things change the way we do things.
Okay.
Right? I've seen, I was in school then in 2005 or thereabouts, or 2005 to 2008, when phone came in. And phones were like, if you're holding a Nokia 3310, then you were like the god in the class. Everybody looks at you like, and so, but it changed the way we communicated.
Yeah.
10, 15 years down the line, all our lives is online.
True.
These days, I turn on my Facebook, and Facebook reminds me of the post I did 13 years ago, and asks me to compare. Then I realized that so much of us is online.
True.
So there are technologies that come into a space and transform the entire space. And I think AI is one because of the power it has. And I'm happy we're discussing this, not just as individuals, but also as people who are interested in the food security.
Yeah.
Without food, we cannot be sitting here. So, and I want to thank Successory for bringing up this topic for us to discuss and help our farmers and help the business community to prepare for the next 10 to 15 years.
Yes.
Things will change.
About changing things, can you tell us what exactly is artificial intelligence, and then how does it connect to livestock farming in practical terms?
All right, good. So artificial intelligence is like a system of computers put together to first of all learn from data. And that's also similar to what we have in humans. We learn from our memory. Okay, so this thing, if you have a child and you put the child's hand in fire, and the next time you're doing the same thing, the child has learned. So this time around, it's a set of computer system that is learning from data that we feed it. But more importantly, after learning, it recognizes patterns. These patterns can now be used to predict. But that's not the scary part. The scary part is that this data or this learning by this computer system can now enable them to also make decisions.
Wow.
So AI is a set of computer designed to learn from data that we feed them with, They recognize patterns. That pattern is used to predict, but more importantly, the way things are going on, they will be able to make decisions based on those learnings.
That part is really scary.
But again, and I think we should just understand it, because whether we like it or not, we don't have control over it anymore. It's going to happen, and it's happening, really. Thank you for that. It's happening. And so the more we understand, rather than make it like a vague subject, Africa needs to be, this podcast needs to be happening every second in Africa, because we need to understand the tsunami that is coming in. And if we understand, we're able to utilize it properly and also channel it towards it being beneficial to us, either in livestock or in various parts of our lives.
Now, talking about various as parts of our lives, many people still see livestock farming as a very traditional industry, especially in this part of Africa. So why is technology, especially AI, becoming an increasingly important part of the sector?
Okay, so let's say if the way you come to work, let's say you're working somewhere, I assume, and you're being paid 1 million naira, and somebody's telling you still come to the same work the way you come, the time you used to come, but this time around I will pay you, instead of 1 million naira, $1 million. Which will you prefer?
The dollars.
Of course. Of course. Because you're using the same time, you're using the same intelligence, yourself, you didn't change. You didn't change your complexion, you didn't change your pattern, just that your productivity or your output has increased. AI is a tool that will, I cannot even say triple our output. It will scale our output in a way that is unimaginable. Look at now, yesterday I was going to analyze our entire financials in FarmLife, and for the first time I said, okay, instead of doing it the regular way, I downloaded the file, put it on Copilot, and in 2 seconds the analysis came looking at me like, okay, so what happened? So AI is a tool. I know we have some culture, some traditions that we should keep, but it's a tool that will multiply our productivity if we're used and understood. So much, right?
Yeah.
Take it easy. And we're just scratching
What was, I'm telling you, what was in my mind, it's rather the perception or the receptibility of people to AI. The likes of you and I, we are open to AI. We've been using it in our every day-to-day activities and tasks, but we are talking about farmers. People who don't even have access to some basic things when it comes to mechanized. They don't have access to mechanized farming, let alone for them to, let alone artificial intelligence. So how can farmers, the question now is, how can farmers really tap into this? Because we have a lot of limitations now. Some farmers are experiencing climate change where their soil quality is dropping. They're experiencing, we have post-harvest losses, loss of soil quality and the like. So how can farmers actually key into this? Seeing that most of them are in rural areas, they don't even understand it. Some of them even fight it.
All right, so I give a quick example and then I'll answer your questions directly. Right. I think the brilliant thing with the human race is that we can adapt. We might not adapt sharply, but we can adapt gradually. When phones were coming in, the key questions that kept coming up is the penetrations of the mobile phones in rural communities. Last month, I was in Adamawa, and I went to one of the remotest community in Adamawa, and I saw a typical Fulani man with a phone on WhatsApp.
Wow, that's good.
So
it's no longer the touchlight or that manual phone anymore.
Because sometimes with time, technology, people blend into technology. Having said that, there will be a responsibility on people like us and of course the government. First, we cannot compete effectively as a country if we don't educate our people and help them improve. If technology or AI is coming in as a tool that improves productivity, and the farmer are at the core of this, we have to ask ourselves as a country or as private sector that we are or as a government, do we want to improve our local production or we want to import? If the answer is to improve our local production, and here comes a tool, maybe not even developed by us, but I bet you there are Africans who are also at the core of developing these AI tools. They might not be in our country, but they might be outside doing something similar. So if the call is to help these farmers get better, I think now, and that's what we're doing also in Farmalab, we've developed a tool, FarmVax. In FarmVax, it's as simple, since you have a mobile phone, you download FarmVax. You click on the button, take a picture. Everybody can take a picture. That is where technology also blends with user experience. Because a technology that is not being used is a useless technology. So a farmer can typically take a picture. You go to FarmVax and then you find a button, scan. You click on the scan and then you take a picture of your livestock, your chicken, your rat, whatever it is. And you click analyze. And it gives you the breakdown of whether the animal is sick or will be sick, or you need to do something in the immediate to attend to it. So farmers might be at a disadvantage because they don't understand the technology properly. We come in as private sector to make those technology a little bit very simple for these average farmers to use, but the government also has a mega role to let people know that there's a future coming, and we will not be able to compete if we don't help our farmers understand this tool and use them appropriately.
Now, I understand the fact that, okay, our farmers need to be aware, they need to be informed and trained. Where does this lie on? The onus of this responsibility, where does it lie on? Does it lie on the farmers to see that, okay, they get the necessary information that they need? Does it lie on individual, like the likes of you, that can train them in those aspects? Or does it lie on the government?
So there's it's like a soup. Where does the sweetness come? Is it from the onion or from the salt or there? But we all own it's a collective responsibility. I think yes, that's the word. It's a collective responsibility. First of all, you as a farmer, you have your family, your household to protect, and we're expecting you to also understand what's happening around you so that you can improve what you do. So there's first of all a personal responsibility. Then there are some of us that are in the private sector that are providers, that we understand that these are the farmers I've been practicing for 17 years as a vet. So these are the farmers that has led to our success. So we need to go back to those farmers and tell them that things have changed. Now there's an AI tool, of course, there will be telemedicine. Telemedicine, we are already building an app for telemedicine very soon, that the farmer don't need to leave his farm to come to the city to see a vet. We can meet you there through video calls and then through this AI tools. So for some of us in the private sector at the middle, we have the responsibility of also educating these farmers on what's coming and what they need to do. And ultimately, for national productivity, I think the government needs to step in, because there's a scale at which you can do it as a private sector. There's also a scale at which you can do it as an individual farmer. But the government has the onus of ensuring that livestock are progressing. And I want to thank the government I know it's not a political podcast, but the government of Tinubu has, for the first time, created a Ministry of Livestock Development. And the Honorable Minister of Livestock is one fantastic person, forward-looking, wants progress, and I think we can make this happen. But there needs to be an intentional effort to get to the grassroots so that we can absorb what's coming.
Now, looking at it, you've mentioned some of the things that AI could do to improve livestock productivity and to make life easier for farmers and people in livestock business. What do you think could be some challenges or bottlenecks that could hinder this awareness and growth in food security, livestock productivity, and livestock business?
I think so I really don't need to think about the answer. From my 17 to 20 years experience in livestock farming or attending to farmers, is the initial to change. or something has worked for you, and you stay at it. And it's also biological, because that's how the brain protects us. Really, we don't want to. Some people still don't even think AI is real. Some people even think it's not going to come. Some people think the end will come with it.
So people see it as it's cutting, it's like an antichrist thing.
Yes. I posted something on my status and somebody said that's the mark of the 666. Well, whatever it is, right?
It's here to stay.
AI is coming, just like phones. There was a time during 2000 when we were about to get into the millennium. People would think the world cannot reset from 1999 to 2000, and everybody was apprehensive. But it came as it's just a normal day. Everybody slept and woke up, and it was a new millennium.
And we are now 2026.
Fantastic. You see, regardless of whatever it is that you think, and I appreciate your thoughts, AI is coming. The investment in it, AI has come, really.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest challenge is the resistance to change. Our farmers, when they understand how to do something, they've mastered, and I really don't blame them, because your dad did it for 40, 50 years.
Some of them is transgenerational, it goes from one generation to, and cultural,
See the battle we have now with converting the Fulanis to ranch, and I'm in the midst of it, and you don't blame them. These are generational activity.
It's their life, actually.
It's their life.
They don't know anything else.
Fantastic. So the biggest resistance, I think, to AI will be what we've known. But we must, yes, and culture, exactly. But we must let people know that what is known is already obsolete. There's something coming that can help you. And we have to present AI like a friendly tool, not necessarily something that is taking human jobs, because that's about the fear now.
Yes. You said something earlier about AI adapting or following patterns, and then it being able to make decisions or predictions according to patterns.
Exactly.
Now, another thing that that's a problem in Nigeria is data.
Yeah.
So now, if AI is going to work in that line, like you said, it's following patterns, and Nigeria is short of having proper data collection, how can this help farmers? Because if the farmers are willing, but then there's no data, how can AI be effective or function effectively?
I was in a meeting yesterday with the Minister of Trade and Industry, and the data problem is more like a national problem. I don't want to say it's a continental problem. So we're not, I want to use the right word, we're not intentional in gathering data as a country. And there's a data gap, but there's also a window, because the world is no longer oval or circular. The world is now flat, right? And so people can draw inferences based on how a cattle, like I was in South Africa, the South African cattle industry, livestock industry, and I hate to compare, but sometimes you have to. It's a bit more organized than what we have in this country. Despite their breeds are different, or their probably climates, their temperatures are different, nature will have all vacuums. This technology and global technology. So I think the responsibility is still on, and I go back to the word education and awareness. We need to keep our own data, because that's how we can generate our own solution. But just in case that doesn't happen, inferences will be drawn from other people who have their data organized, and the predictions will be done. So we have to decide where we want to be at the table. Either we want to be at the table of the people who receive inferences from other people's data, or we want to own our own data and be at the forefront of it. And it has to be a national. I wish meetings like this should be a national discussion, because this hits at the heart of whether, and I hate to say, I'm not a prophet of doom, whether our children eat from our own hands or they eat from another person's hands. We need to start taking data seriously. But on the more optimistic side, there's now a few data. Google can predict your movements because you carry phones all around.
So and like you said, it's a pattern. So it follows your pattern, your lifestyle, and then predicts. True.
It's only my friend that doesn't use Google. Everywhere I go, I use Google. I use Google. Right. So it means that if I'm leaving my house and I'm coming to your podcast, the pathway is similar. If another person, a white person, a black person, a red person, a yellow person, stay in that same location and wants to come to your place, it's still the same. And so is it with livestock. If your cattle is off feed, we as local farmers, we might not be able to detect early that my cattle is off feed. But with sensors, you can know that, oh, your cattle ate 10 kg of feed. This cattle particularly ate 10 kg of feed. But the next day it ate 9.5. As small as that, AI can detect. Small as that, AI, once AI detects that it was 10 kg yesterday, it's 9.5 kg yesterday. Today, you don't need your local intelligence anymore. The AI just sends you like a prompt that there's something wrong. You should check either there's a wound in the cattle's leg, or whether the cattle is stressed or is not comfortable, or is an early sign of a disease. Exactly. So we have challenges with data. I think farmers should keep their data so that they can better understand their data. But if we don't eventually, we'll probably be at the receiving ends of learning from other clients who have it better, and then we use it on our own.
It's quite broad and interesting to know the opportunities that lies out there using AI. Now, another thing I want to ask is, do you think there's a risk that overdependence on AI could reduce human experience, intuition, and traditional farming knowledge? Because, like we talked about, some of these people, that's all that they have done in their lives, and it has, it has been generational. So, do you think that there's a risk that there could be over dependence on AI?
So I'll answer your question, but I will also leave it hanging because it's a global discussion. There's now a global discussion on whether AI will make human redundant, whether AI will take over our jobs. People, and the best of minds also still don't understand where it will lead because of the capability of AI to now make decisions. If it were just predictions, then it's easy. It's what we feed it that comes in. But AI learns our data and is able to, on its own, make a decision. So he can tell you that, oh, I've learned that the weather at so time will be harmful to this livestock, and make decisions on of your behalf. So what I will leave the question hanging, but what I will advise is that what if we fear something and we run away from it, we will be harmed by it somehow. Right? But if we fear something, let's say, so AI will definitely take over some jobs. It's not a question. Will some even say maybe work will be optional, maybe we will not need to farm, and those histories should be preserved as a nation. Because for something our great grandfather passed to us and we're passing it to our children, it should be preserved. But whatever the situations will be, humans are still humans. I don't foresee that it will disrupt us in a way that we will become redundant in another 10 to 20 years. But I'm not Einstein. So I'm just a vet. And I think we should use it.
Okay. Another aspect I want us to talk about is the limitation or the control of the use of AI in animal production and agriculture generally, especially in agriculture and cross spacing in what do you call it when you cross breeding. We have the challenge of GMOs that are not really, it's making us lose the essential qualities of most of our foods. And like you said, some of these things are generational, they are wisdom or knowledge that has been passed down. So how can we really how can AI really be controlled so that this it won't overstep, making us create foods that will turn out to be non-nutritional.
All right, and thank you. Brilliant question. My perspective about that is that it's going to be like a cyclical curve. We got to a time where we engineered science and started producing GMOs that were harmful to us. We all know about that. And so, in the bid to make something faster and to make it at scale, we engineered it in a way that humans were not healthy. But now biology is no longer my prediction or my learnings. The biology would be a science. It would now be more like an engineering subject, and I will explain right. So our health went bad because of GMOs, but because of AI will learn that producing this sequence this way, and AI is already learning that producing food this way is harmful to humans. There will be a lot of links between what we produce and the human race. Because longevity, somebody predicted boldly that if you live till another 5-10 years, you will live for 200 years because aging will be optional. So that's why AIs are important, because they learn. They learn if you produce this way, you're going to have livestock that will be detrimental to humans. So you could just tell AI that this way, since it's harmful, can you produce it in a way that achieves the same results but also beneficial to humans? And that's why I think AI will correct the defects of GMOs. I strongly believe that.
Okay. How can AI really be controlled so that this it won't overstep, making us create foods that will turn out to be non-nutritional?
The baseline of effective AI or it working for you is to have data. If there's nothing for AI to learn from, there's nothing to make decision on or predict. If you're a farmer, and we cannot overemphasize this, we've said this over and over again. Can you even have your data? Can you know the number of livestock you have? Can you even know how much food they consume? People don't have the finances of their farms at their fingertips. You're not a witch. It's difficult to know what it is that you've not written down. It's even difficult to improve or learn from what it is that you exactly. So go back to your farm, and I've been doing this for almost 2 decades. And the first question you get to ask a serious farmer is that, where's your reports? Or where are your farm records? Once they don't have, there's a big management issue. So have a book. But beyond having a book, because we're now talking about AI, have a simple laptop. Excel is outdated, but we can still manage it. Because Excel just gives you like a digital form of something you have in your paper. And by the way, there are apps now that can also help you digitize your records. So first step, keep your data. Secondly, stretch a bit to accommodate any digital form of your data. And then finally, we cannot stop continuously improving ourselves in Nigeria. Farming has gone, we have people, you said you have 1,000 chickens. There are people with 10 million chickens. So what will make you do it at that scale is continuous improvement. And that's what I think we need to focus on. It's not just going to be on you, it's on us, all private sector driven people, vets, animal scientists, whoever it is that playing in the livestock sector, and it's on also the Ministry of Livestock, ab initio the government. We need to make our people aware that there's a tsunami coming, and to improve our productivity, we have to learn how to use the tools. You're breathing hard. So much for AI.
Yeah, so much for AI, and seeing the opportunities that lies in it. And like we said earlier, it's just people being open-minded to know how to harness it for the better instead of seeing it from the worst angle.
Exactly.
Now, for a farmer listening right now who wants to begin integrating AI into their livestock business or agricultural business, what practical first steps would you recommend to them?
Written down. It's even difficult to improve or learn from what
What
it
you
is
don't have.
that you exactly. So go back to your farm, and I've been doing this for almost 2 decades. And the first question you get to ask a serious farmer is that where's your reports, or where are your farm records? Once they don't have, there's a big management issue. So have a book. But beyond having a book, because we're now talking about AI, have a simple laptop. Excel is outdated, but we can still manage it. Because Excel just gives you like a digital form of something you have in your paper. And by the way, there are apps now that can also help you digitize your records. So first step, keep your data. Secondly, stretch a bit to accommodate any digital form of your data. And then finally, we cannot stop continuously improving ourselves in Nigeria. Farming has gone. We have people. You said you have 1,000 chickens. There are people with 10 million chickens. So, what will make you do it at that scale is continuous improvement. And that's what I think we need to focus on. It's not just going to be on you, it's on us, all private sector driven people, vets, animal scientists, whoever it is that playing in the livestock sector. And it's on also the Ministry of Livestock, ab initio the government. We need to make our people aware that there's a tsunami coming. And to improve our productivity, we'll have to learn how to use the tools.
Well, you've heard it all. So, artificial intelligence is no longer a conversation for tech companies or laboratories anymore. It is entering activities of everyday living and extending to farms, feed systems, veterinary care, supply chains, and agricultural businesses in ways that could reshape the future of food production and agriculture in general. The real question is not whether AI will influence livestock farming. It is whether farmers, businesses, and policymakers are ready to adapt to the transformation already happening. Thank you, Doctor, for coming on the program. We appreciate you, and we hope when next we need you, you avail us your time.
I'm always yours. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Till I come your way again, I am Chana Ejoga.